Welcome back, Weekend Warriors. The podcast is back. The Turnersville Sportsbook is excited to get into the 2021 season. The draft seems like forever ago. We've all been patiently waiting with that extra week of preseason off. Everybody's been looking at their nice, fancy teams. Everybody's team looks great after the draft, but after week one, everything goes out the window. So I'm excited to get back into it. This is normally the time where I'll recap the previous week, but there is no previous week, so we're going to jump right into it. Vallone's a newcomer to the podcast, but he has seen glimpses of it from Pearson and from others in the past, so I think he's excited to finally be a part of the crew here. In honor of my name, the source, Stu Feiner. He's our source, he's my source. I'm your guy's source for content, and in honor of him this year, I'm going to do one thing a little different. Every week, I'm going to give you one Thursday night football pick at the end of the podcast. I'm also going to give you one other random bet throughout the show when I get to it here. And I'm going to keep track of my record. Some folks do that. You know, you go 10-0, 11-0, you get on a roll, might go viral or something. So the Weekend Warriors podcast, not only is he giving you 5 fantasy football picks, I'm giving you 2 real NFL picks. I will track them and see how it goes. So speaking of picks, the Turnersville Sportsbook in 2020 had a banner year. I want to see Otley. Where's the haters at, Ott? Where are you at, boy? 41, 31, and 1. We strive for over 500, and what's more impressive about that record is yours truly did not have a great season, and I usually pick myself to win. So 41, 31, and 1. Very happy with that record. That includes the playoffs, so we'll track this year and see how we do. So diving into it, we're very excited, and the first matchup is going to be Pearson, our champion, versus newcomer Vallone. And man, ESPN thinks it's going to be a close game. 50% either side, within a fraction of a point of each other. 0.9 points to be exact. Pearson's slightly favored. And Pearson threw the first curveball of the draft. He took Kamara over Dalvin Cook, a little bit against the consensus in a half PPR league. Kamara was his champion. He won him a fantasy championship last year, so it's hard to argue with taking him at that spot. Pairs him with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was on my do not draft list, but good luck, Pearson. No, I had him last year and he screwed me. If he has 2,000 yards, he can do it on somebody else's team this year, not mine. Flip-flopped him real quick over to Vallone. He had the 9th pick. He took Saquon Barkley. He lasted a little bit longer, and now it looks like he's going to play week 1. Is he going to be limited? That's a big question for Vallone. I do like Dak Prescott in this game Thursday night. I have not given my Thursday night pick to you all yet. I know you're on pins and needles. But I think Dak, a little foreshadow, he's going to be playing catch-up. He can have like 353 and then maybe like 2 picks. He's going to get his even if the Cowboys don't succeed Thursday night. So I know Pearson is a little afraid about that. The other thing I like about Vallone's team here, he does have really good receivers. DeAndre Hopkins and Terry McLaurin, and then, oh, by the way, Jerry Jeudy, who I love, and T. Higgins. Pearson has the other Broncos wide receiver. They're hoping that Bridgewater can support him. I almost wore my Bridgewater jersey today because of this matchup. So, listen, with the Barkley question marks, I'm going to lean in the favor of the champion, give him the benefit of the doubt. I think Vallone has a good team. I know these two are going to be chirping each other all week. They probably have been already. And I'm going to give Pearson the advantage to beat Vallone here in week 1. Moving over to the next matchup, we have Optimistic Bearded Parrot versus Pearson's father. That's Kevin versus Chris. Every year we say Chris has a good team after the draft. Can he take that and bring it to success this year? I'll tell you what, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, having those 2 guys on the same team alone is a cheat code. And oh, by the way, he has Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is the best flex player in our league as of this moment. There is no question about it. And Chris's running backs, the only problem with that is you take Kyler Murray, And your wide receivers, they're going to be a little weak. Right now, he's starting Michael Gallup and Chase Claypool as his 2 and 3. Not as good as some other wide receivers in our league, no question. But then he does have T.J. Hockenson, who I like as a top 5 tight end this year. So that's a nice little pairing. Him and Murray with those running backs. If his wide receivers can give enough points, Chris has a good team. Kev, on record, said he hates his team. Very uncharacteristic for Kevin, who usually loves his team. Or loves everything about Kevin. But I like his team. I'm not in love with Aaron Jones, but he's been a top 5 running back the last 2 years. Rodgers is back. Travis Kelce at the turn. Very hard to argue with him. He's going to have a good season yet again. The question marks for Kevin, especially in week 1, I do like Javonte Williams. I think it's going to take him a little time to really rip that job away from Melvin Gordon. And David Montgomery, who I do like, he was on my team last year. Kev traded him to me. I like him to have a nice season. He should get a boost when Field starts. But Montgomery at the Rams week 1, I just saw that the Bears' first half total went from 9.5 to 7.5 over the last couple days. Not a lot of points probably going to be scored in that by the Chicago Bears against the Rams. So I think Montgomery may struggle. Oh, and I do love Herbert. I haven't won another team, but at Washington week 1, I think Kev gets out to a slow start. Chris gets out to a hot start, and he's seeing glimpses of Rudy Johnson, Chad Johnson, and that fullback Johnson he had for the Bengals. Optimistic bearded parrot over Kevin. Maybe the first upset on the slate, although Chris is slightly projected to win here on ESPN. So take that for what it's worth. Chris over Kevin in week 1. Moving on to the next matchup, Central Wildcats versus Keenan NL. Love that name, Brett. Very creative. You also got some kind of motion going in your picture, so that's pretty cool. Otley sniped me in the draft. Took Dalvin Cook. I mean, that was not a surprise. I didn't think I was going to get him at 4. But on the way back, takes Justin Jefferson in the 3rd round. That's all on the Vikings. I like it. And guess what? Week 1, they are at Cincinnati. Uh-oh. Time for the source. Listen, call me a homer. Yes, the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Push that aside for now. At Cincinnati, -3. I've seen the line go to 3.5. I'm taking -3. Joe Burrow's first game back off the ACL injury. The Minnesota Vikings got some healthy players now on defense. They got Patrick Peterson. Danielle Hunter's back. Vikings win by a touchdown on the road in Cincinnati. That's my first pick of the season, and you'll get your Thursday night pick in a little bit. Anyway, Aaron Rodgers, man, NFC North team here for Otley. So I do like his team. His only question mark really at this time is Mike Williams at flex. Yeah, and maybe Gus Edwards. They did just sign Le'Veon Bell, but man, we know he's a corpse. Flipping over to Brett, he did not want to take Zeke. He was standing in my kitchen telling me, I don't want to take Zeke. He ended up taking Zeke. I think Zeke is a good pick. I think week 1 he could struggle with that tackle that is now potentially not going to play because of COVID. In a game where they're going to be behind, he might catch some passes. If he gets in the end zone, he can still get 20-plus points. I wouldn't worry about Zeke season long, but I think week 1 he might struggle a little bit. Najee Harris, I'm absolutely in love with. Brett took him, which forced me to take Antonio Gibson, who I also do like, but I did want Najee, and I think he's going to have a big season. At Buffalo week 1, he's going to get a lot of volume. He should still be okay. What I'm worried about Brett's team, potentially, his quarterback is not great. Matthew Stafford, he could be one of those guys, though, that you're like, how did we not see this coming? He's on a great team, great offensive mind. Rams can go to the Super Bowl. But, he's not ranked as a very high starter here to start the season. At home against Chicago, Sunday Night Football. Let's see. Is he going to be a game manager or is he going to sling the rock? So that's a question mark for Brett. And also Kenny Golladay, he's been injured. He's back. He said he might have a slow start. I'd like to see it before I believe it from him. Because of that, because of the good matchups for Ott's Vikings, I am going to take Otley over Brett here in week 1. And ESPN agrees. 54% chance for the Central Wildcats. I agree. Moving on to the matchup of the week. Chernobyl Meltdown versus End of the Harding Curse. That is Dean and Terry. Really excited about this matchup. I was going to pick myself and Jake, but we got to give it to the senior guys. These guys have been battling from the beginning. Dean in New Jersey, Terry down in the Carolinas. It's always a battle of the brother-in-laws matchup, and Dean trying to get off to a hot start. Well, it helps getting the first pick. Christian McCaffrey, pairing him with DK Metcalf and Patrick Mahomes as his first 3 picks. That's a great first 3 picks, and we know Dean wants a stud quarterback. Well, he got him. Terry sticking with his guy Josh Allen. He did a lot of good things for him last year, so he's going to continue to hopefully have that roll over. A little tough matchup against Pittsburgh week 1, but he's pretty much matchup dependent. Love CeeDee Lamb, love Tyreek Hill, really studs at the wide receiver position for Terry, and he just also has Mark Andrews, who just got paid. He's going to be a big part of the Ravens offense. Probably the number 1 pass catcher. Some weaknesses for Terry. I'm not in love with Mike Davis. We'll see how he does in Atlanta. Kareem Hunt, good flex player. But obviously Chubb is the main staple there. Can Kareem Hunt continue to manufacture points? Probably as a flex. He'll be a good flex player. Flipping the script, we already talked about Dean. Maybe some of his weaknesses. 2 rookies in his lineup for week 1. Devonta Smith and Kyle Pitts. Darrell Henderson at flex. I love him as a flex third running back for Dean to pair him with Josh Jacobs and McCaffrey. I think people are a little bit too excited on Sony Michel. He's, yesterday's fun. He ain't no good. So I like what Dean did with the team. This is a 50-50 game here, too, from ESPN. I'm going with Dean. He's going to end the Harden curse like his name says. And Terry takes an L here in week 1. And moving over to the matchup of the week, runner-up, me versus my brother. Can you dig it versus the Source? The Source is ready to roll, Jake. We're ready to roll. 88, baby. 88. And I'm ready to roll out of the gate because I have Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, and Ryan Suckup on Thursday Night Football. Jake's trembling. He can't stand it. He hates I got all those bucks. But Godwin now on the injury report. This guy I knew was going to be a little bit of a suspect when it comes to injuries. He's limited. I think he'll be fine, but it's something that your source here needs to monitor. Jake, with his team, he loves receivers, Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs. Hence the name Can You Dig It? Really good 1-2. Sacrificed a little running back, but he's got 2 solid, I think, high-end number 2s. James Robinson with Etienne out. And now Gaskin. Everybody seems to be very high on Gaskin. He averaged like 19 touches a game last year. That offense should be better. He scares me a little bit. He could be the steal of the draft for Jake. George Kittle against Detroit. That's pretty damn scary. And Jake's putting his chips on Lamar Jackson, who I personally cannot stand. But he scores points in fantasy. And he plays Monday night. So that's a little bit of a... it has to be kept up tonight here. If I have a good Sunday, he could always win in Monday night. But I do like my team. Derrick Henry at home against Arizona. Love Antonio Gibson this year. Going to ride him like a bull. Cooper Kupp. I think he's going to have a big season with Stafford. Talked about Stafford a minute ago. And then obviously my Buccaneers. I think they're just going to give me a nice lead. Put Jake in a hole. And your source, Mr. 88. That's how many points I'm going to score Thursday night. Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, Ryan Suckup. 88, 88, 88. My Thursday night pick. Everybody's probably thinking, I'm going the over. 51.5. Get it now before it goes higher. It's going to be a shootout. Remember a couple years ago? Man, it's probably like 10 years ago now. Peyton Manning came out for Denver. He threw 7 touchdowns in week 1. I don't think Brady's going to do that. But I think he might throw 4. I think he could throw 5. And Dallas is going to be playing catch-up. 38-31-ish. Something in that range, well over the 51.5. Book it. Your source is here. Oh, no, yeah. Tie over Jake. I guess I didn't say that. 5-0, 2-0, 7-0 on the week, hopefully. That's what we're going. Hey, enjoy, guys. Really excited to be back. Really, really excited to be doing this again. Everybody have good luck here in week 1. And go Vikes. Skol.
See the girls in the club, they getting wild for me. And all the pretty chicks all wanna smile at me. These rap